In this video we will show you how to create questions which will add to your question bank. Note that you can add questions to a question bank at any time. However, as it was stressed in the first video, the best way to develop a quiz system in Moodle is to set up a bank of questions first and then populate a quiz with some of those questions. Now if you look at the information PDF, you'll see that for multiple choice questions we're recommending that you use Hot Potatoes. Hot Potatoes is a free program. Here it is. I simply went to my programs and chose Hot Potatoes to open it up. And there's a range of question types. The most commonly used one is JQuiz, and that's the one that we'll use to create some multiple choice questions. So the idea here is that we can save quite a bit of time if we want to create quite a few questions. And because what happens is you create these in Hot Potatoes. If you click on JQuiz, you'll see the template open. So create a whole heap of questions in Hot Potatoes, import them into Moodle, don't worry about any fancy stuff, and then you're ready to go. And then what I'm suggesting is that later on you can modify some of the settings in Moodle, because you can do some interesting things with these. But do that later on when you've got a whole lot of questions, and then you can make the same changes to each of the questions. And that's actually probably the more efficient way to do it. Otherwise you get bogged down with all these fancy settings for one question and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere. Now I've created a couple of questions here. The title is the question name, prime numbers. Now the idea of the question name is that I can look at that at a glance and pretty much have a good idea of what the sort of question is. Here's my actual question text. Which of the following are sets of prime numbers? And in here we've got a drop down box. Multiple choice is the only one I'm going to demonstrate, so we have that set on multiple choice. I've got 4 answer types. I could have more than 4, but I'm just choosing to have 4, and I need to select the correct answer, and the correct answer is C, and so that's it. Now if we go to question 2, you can see I've set this up. It's the same question text. This time solutions B and C are the correct ones. So you can have some questions with more than one correct answer, but I want to show what happens when these are imported into Moodle. And again, this gives more weight to my argument that I think as a first step I would just recommend you have one answer only, because they're much quicker to set up from the Moodle side of it, and we want you to get going quickly. Alright, it's in the Moodle settings that the time is taken. Alright, so we save that and close it, and then we need to import that question into Moodle. My administration block is on the side there. Yours may be up here. For my liking, that's sort of prime real estate over this side, but if you're happy with it there, then that's fine. But if you would like it on the left, you just click these little things over here, and eventually it pretty much all disappears to the left-hand side. So settings and question bank. So just give me a quick look at the question bank. You've probably seen this before in the previous video. I can show all 58 questions if I want, but of course we need to import. So this time settings and import under question bank. Choose Hot Potatoes. We're not going to demonstrate these other options. You can play around with those if you have ways of creating quizzes in other things. Leave the settings at the default settings. The import category, well, I could choose one of my folders, but I'm going to just go for the top level, which is the default. Leave everything else as is and choose the file. Now my file, so I browse for that. So you might need to navigate to find your particular folder wherever it is. You need to create one, and so here's my prime numbers question there. So open, and then upload and import. Which of the following sets are prime numbers? These are the 2 questions. Moodle's going to call this 1 and 2, obviously, and so we should be able to find them now. I'm going to show all 57. And here they are. So there's prime numbers question 1 and question 2. Now remember, 1 was the one that we set up with only one answer. Let's edit that one. So here's the question name. So there's the text. Now we could add some general feedback. This is what students get after they've finished the question. Might be just well done, whatever you want. But we're not going to go too fancy on the feedback just yet. Now note the default setting is one answer only, and back here we could see that the default mark is 1 mark, so the question's worth 1 mark. So the first one is not correct, hence no grade. Second one not correct, hence no grade. Third one is correct and it's automatically given the grade at 100%. And the fourth answer is not correct, so there's no grade. So that's what we want. If we scroll down further, you can have quite a few answer solutions if you want. You can add more if you need them, but I don't know that you would. Combine feedback, so you could write some feedback for any correct answer, for any incorrect answer, and for any partially correct answer. But again, I'm saying let's just leave that for now. Let's modify all that after you've been using the questions, just so you can get up to speed early. And there's other things you can add in, hints and whatever. We can save changes, and we can have a look at what that question is like. So where were we? Prime numbers 1. Let's go and preview it by hitting the little magnifying glass. And so which of the following are sets of prime numbers? So 2, 3, 5. See how it's doubled the answers? I'll show you that setting next time. Submit and finish, and there's the correct answer. Okay, close that preview. Let's now edit the second question. Now the second question was where we had 2 correct answers, and I'll show you what the issue is. If you're setting those up in Hot Potatoes, you're going to have to modify the settings a little. So the question name's okay, the question text is okay, default mark is good. We can add some general feedback if you want. Here's the thing, that it's not going to change this, and so you're going to have to change that each time. But what it has done is it's given the 2 correct answers 100%, which means if they choose either the choice 3 or choice 2, they'll get full marks. I would prefer, if I was going to have one of these, to have multiple choices, multiple answers allowed, and set this one at 50%. So if they only choose that option, they get half a mark, and if they only chose this option, they get half a mark. But if they choose both, they get a full mark. That's the way I'd want to set up. But you've got to change that and also change this. The one thing I didn't show you was this shuffle choices. That's default ticked, and I see no reason why you wouldn't have that. So it means if I'm a participant and I'm looking on my mate's computer, then the options that he's choosing is probably going to be a different option to what's appearing on my screen. So now if we save changes, and let's have a look at that in preview mode. We can see that the top question, the top option and the bottom option are the ones. Submit and finish, and there we go. So I would get 1 out of 1. I'll just show you what would have happened if I'd only chosen one of those. Then I get half mark. Alright, pretty cool. So in summary, what I would suggest there is that in Hot Potatoes you just create a whole lot of multiple choice questions, each with 1 correct answer, and then they're ready to run. You can pretty much leave the default settings. Then later on, have a think and choose some of the questions that you want to add more correct answers, and then change the settings accordingly. And also you might want to add feedback for those different responses as well. But better to do that as one whole group, and then you can just copy and paste into the correct categories.